before you start watching this video, you really need to watch the entire video, because you will see that I did make mistakes along the way, and I had to remove the eeprom chip twice before I finally got it right. Hey guys, we're working on a 2004 Chevy Trailblazer, and I just wanted to do kind of a before and after and give you a little bit of information on this. First of all, when I purchased this car about 4 months ago, one of the things the guy told me was that they had replaced the gauge cluster on the vehicle about a year ago, that some of the gauges had started glitching and not working. And he called the junkyard and was able to purchase one at the junkyard, and he had to turn in his old gauge cluster as a core. Also, I was noticing that when I push the trip thing, nothing works. But when you first turn the key to the on, you will see when it goes through all its test functions, you'll see trip and you'll see 88888. But I'm not able to get anything to work, and I'll show you that now with the key on, engine off. So everything's going to go through its functions, trip, and then it goes to mileage, and everything works as it should. And if you hit the trip meter, nothing happens. So I'm going to go ahead and pull it out. We're going to do a mileage correction on it, and I'm going to take a look at the trip and see. But otherwise, I can start it. So anyway, all the gauges work. We're going to see what number of gauges they are, if they've ever been replaced or anything to that nature. So all right, so I've got all 4 bolts out. What I've done now is just adjust the steering wheel all the way down, slide this forward, go ahead and let it just lay down, slide it out some, and then just reach over and grab the plug and pull it out. So now the gauge is out. We're going to go ahead and take this cluster inside and take a look at it here now and see what we find. Alright, so we're getting ready to get started here, taking this apart. I'm going to start just with the cluster here. You're going to need to lift these up. You can use a little pick here, give it a little lift. If you can use your fingernails, you just have to pry those up. There's those there, and there's 4 on this side. 1, 2, 3, actually 3 on this side. And then this cover comes off. On the other side, you're going to have the shield. You're going to have to push these in. On each side, there's 1, 2. Just give it a good push with your fingers. Actually, that's pretty much how easy that is. Just do that with my fingers. Set this to the side. That gets this off. Now, we'll get to the back in a minute here, but like I said, you're just going to pull on those clips. To get these off, most people, you can just use a simple fork. Okay. Some people are scared because these are metal that you might scratch it, so you do want to be careful. These have been pushed down quite a bit, which tells me that possibly these may have been replaced or been worked on before. But see how easy that goes under? Then all you do is just give it a little push up. That's how you, whoops, sorry. Didn't get that on the video. But anyway, you just do slide this up under, a little push up, and that's it. It slides right off. So you have to get all those off, set them to the side. Just be careful. As you can see, it did not scratch the panel. You can also use a plastic fork. Get all these off, and then this cover. You don't really need to take this cover off right here because you're going to be getting to the back, but you need to get these off in order to get the back off, and I'll show you that in a minute. As you can see, I've gotten them all off. Just got to give it a little push down, and then just get your finger under there. Now, a lot of people that, in order to get these to center, usually you just push them all the way back and they stop. And you just put one on back on here just to give you a little idea. Get this one to start just a little. And if you turn this all the way back, you'll see that it stops there. You can just keep turning it until you get it back. And usually that's just below 0 on the RPM. And that's usually where they need to be. Same on the mile per hour, it goes in about the same spot. And then on all these gauges, the oil pressure, you'll line it right up at the edge of the red on each one. I'll show you that when we're putting it back together. So a lot of people just put tape down. So anyway, we'll get back to the next step. Okay, once you release all these clips, and it just lifts right up. As it's supposed to. Let's make sure. There we go. Okay, those are all lifted up. Now we'll take this and again set it to the side. I do want to check, is my friend here that we were using to push, so that's all there. I don't see anything, you know, wrong or missing from there, but we are going to figure out where that pushes down to. When we look here, when I took this apart, there's this little green thing right here, and it was just sitting. It fell out. So this little green thing just fell out, and I've never seen that happen before. So that was a little odd. So we're gonna look and see. I think that that would be your little button. I believe something's broken there. May need to replace the little button that goes there for the trigger. I'll have to look and see what that is. Also, I noticed that this light is broken right there. You can see the solder point on it. It's no good. So that'll need to be replaced. All these other ones, they look okay. Now, here's another issue. This is crazy. So look at what number these gauges are, guys. They are not the 27s. These are original gauges. Which tells me this thing's probably never been apart before. C5s. So this has all original gauges. This thing has not been messed with, but yet that trip gauge is messed up. So we're gonna have to look about ordering one of those, because I believe that that's bad. I believe there's supposed to be a little button there to push down on. And yeah, so that looks like that's what's wrong with my trip. We'll have to see if we can order one of those and figure out what it is. Okay, now, the reason why we're here is we're looking for my prom, which I believe is right there. See if it'll focus in or not. These are your typical light bulbs that light up the whole board. Here, this one here, like I said, is not soldered well. All these are doing okay. Now, I did not buy a kit for this. Right now, all we're doing is going to remove that eeprom, which is right there. And we're going to put it on my programmer and program it. Okay, so the chip that I have that's a replacement chip is 95020, and when you look at the size of it, it looks identical to the size of the one that goes on here. And let's get back to where it is. There it is. Now, the biggest thing you guys got to worry about when you're doing this is you do not want to move these resistors when you heat them up. Any of those resistors. Be really careful, and you've got to heat these up, and you got to heat these up to get it off. So it's really important to have the right tools. I mean, you could use a soldering gun, but those other resistors are right there. You might knock them off the board. So really important is to get that heated up. Now, the tool I'm using here, I purchased this on eBay. The part number is an 858D. It's a it's basically a heat gun, and you blow air on. And I did some experimenting with some other circuit boards, just desoldering and soldering. And what I found is if I use this heat gun and I point down like this at the thing and use a little red light, and I get it up to about 200 degrees, the solder is usually hot enough to pop that off. So I'll be able to just get it off. Use a little pair of tweezers. You can use a little pick and just slide it backwards. You just got to get it off of that little chipset. So that's what we're going to do now. Also note on the original chipset here that the writing, when I'm looking at the board like this, is facing straight up and down. I'm able to read the writing, but I'm going to just be putting this, trying to reprogram this one. So we're going to do a read using my tool here. We'll read the bin so we can save the bin. I do have an extra chip here if I end up damaging that chip, so I can copy the bin off of that. So, all right, we're gonna get going here. Okay, so over here, I've got the 858D and the smallest adapter on it. I've got it set to 350 degrees. Okay, now I'm gonna come over here to this, and all I'm gonna do is they want you to start by heating around. You don't want to just get right on it and heat the whole dang board in one shot. So we're gonna just start here like this. We'll move around in circles here on each side. And then what we're gonna do is take my little meter here and we're gonna look at the temperature. And I'm just seeing how hot it's getting. So I know when it's about ready, when it gets up to about 200 degrees. I just keep going from side to side and I'll know. And 40 degrees. We're almost there. 165. $193. 194. I only get about 200 now. I should be able to just about pick this up. Nope, not yet. Cool off a little too quickly. 175. There we go. Put this back up, hang it up. You'll see the temperatures start to drop and come down. It's actually cooling itself off. Once it cools off, it'll shut off. So that's off. That's how easy that was. As you can see, I didn't touch any of the little resistors. Everything looks really good. Now what I'm going to do is just take my little soldering gun and touch each one of those. Before we do, we're going to go ahead. We let that cool off a little bit. Now what we got here is my tool here. So we're going to end up, we don't want to lose that one, but we're going to take this off here. I've got the, like I said, the other one in here right now. So we'll go ahead and pull it out. Hopefully. There it is. Drop this one in here so we can read it. Oh, not good. Might have to take some of this solder off. There we go. Huh? Oh, there we go. Okay, got it. So now it's in. Now what I'm looking for here is I'm reading the writing on it, and there's a little dot on the top left. So the reading of the writing, if you look at the machine here, here's the toggle here. You want the writing so you can read it from the side you're looking at here. And there'll be a little dot on the top, and then now that's in and ready to read. Now we're gonna go over to my computer. We're gonna read the bin.